the examination. All those are not required. And right amount of preparation, why I say is the hard. And now the time to gear up and prepare it, to the maximum. Whatever the subjects gets over in the day, half day, the remaining part you will be able to have sufficient time to come back and read the examination, or mock exams, or could be your notes, or it could be some pointers. So all these are very important. So keeping all this in mind, what are the things that you have to follow it up? First thing is about the four papers: and business communication, legal aptitude and reasoning, economics, and finally your current affairs and general knowledge, presentation and communication skill. I think the new model, or new version of CET compared to CA Foundation, you have a lot many advantages. This has become more of an entrance exam for any competitive examination. It is on the similar lines. Therefore, I know that your hard work is important, but now onwards, what you prepare, that revision, last minute revision, plus your, the mock examination, they are going to be the key factor. It so happens many times I know the subject, I know understanding, but I have not been able to manage the time. This all you will come to know only by taking more and more mock papers. So, and listening from the best faculty who comes and address to you, who will guide you. So every pointers what they tell you, please make in a notebook, long notebook, and keep it very clear. That is very important. Otherwise, you will get confused. So much is there, by how to start, when to start, and how to end. Therefore, that generally happens in any competitive exam and even the professional exams. So it requires what I can call professional preparation from now onwards. Not that you are not done, you are done good, but now the gear has to change. If you at all you are in the first or second gear, it should go to fourth or fifth gear. At least 8 to 10 hours of your preparation is must now onwards, including classes and other subject, other your homeworks and whatever the revision part which we are doing and which you are doing also. Subject like economics, or subject like law, you have to write, otherwise you'll not be able to reproduce in the examination. Especially the subject like these two, which it requires a good amount of writing from your end. Not that that's going to come to your examination of in the writing pattern, but you'll be able to reproduce in the examination, even in the multiple choice questions. Whenever the examples are given, or cases are given, situations are given, please make a note. And trust me, the revision batches, revision classes will help you tremendously, because what you are supposed to do, comprehend the entire syllabus and portions, it will be done by our team. What you have to do is follow the instructions very carefully, clearly, so that you'll be able to write your examination much better. When it comes to the multiple choice questions, few tips I shared today, and probably the other faculties, and when you write examination, will come to know. First thing that you have to do is, when the question has come, and who is going to give you the better answer is not about your learning. That learning is one part, what you have understood, but you have to read the questions very carefully. I repeat, question, you have to take the answers from the questions only. Therefore, your questions and the relevant answers all are there. Is only you have to pick in the right one. Therefore, read questions correctly and carefully. Take little time, that's okay. Not understood, come back and read. It so happens in a hurry, you do it and you will come back later. Oh, this is not that. That's a time waste. So you have to take all the questions, read the questions carefully, and then answer. Second thing is, the negative words are so important, and any teachers will tell you which is not true, which is not a correct match, which will sorry, uh, which is not false, which is not incorrect, which is incorrect. These all the statements and words you have to be very careful. Therefore, when you read, please read very correctly. It so happens many times we don't use which true. There is a word not, you are not read only, and it will completely change your result. So therefore, this kind of words understanding and reading and applying in the examination is important. And you know, the sectional breakup is there. That's the reason even in one of the papers you get minimum scores absolutely okay. But if you're able to get in other paper, example, you're good in economics and business environment and you've done well there, and you're less in other, that's absolutely okay. Even the minimum mark you have to get. I think these are all the key things that you have to note. And time management will come only by taking more papers. Students, you all want to clear company secretary. Please respond to me in the chat box. Yes, no, single letter. Yes, good morning, Ruchita. Yes, all of you have to tell me. Yes, no. Everyone? Other student thinking? Okay. All right, super. Super. If that is the case, one tip yeah, yeah. The one thing which I want to share all of you is, please listen. Everyone message came. Okay. Someone still thinking, want to clear or not? All right. Okay, super. One thing that you all have to promise me today is that till the last examination, till the last mock exam, till the last day of our class, you have to cooperate and you have to be with us. Many a times you think that is it required? Is it a time waste? No. You never know what's going to click to you in those days. Therefore, you may think that one day I've written the mock exam, should I write again? You have to. You don't have an option. That way you have to consider. So all this kind of attitude will help you to get a better score. So, will all of you promise me today that you will attend all the sessions without any missing and you will write all the mock exams, come what may, irrespective of your scores? Just answer. Will you attend all the mock exams? No answer from you. Yes, sure. Okay. That's what is required. Okay, that will help you to get a better score finally, because you assume that you know it. You don't know what kind of paper going to get. That's why when it is designed by the team at the back end, they'll give you all different varieties. They give you some easy, they give you some moderate, they'll give you some tough paper. They give you one section could be a different difficult one. All that surprise should happen at the mock exams. You have two choice, my dear students. You do your rehearsals either in the mock exams or the actual exam. You do your R&D here, or you have to do in that particular day when the company secretary institute conducts the examination. I always advise you to do here, right? That's why you have to do all to get all such surprises. And trust me, it's not that difficult course, but it has to be cracked quite differently. It has to be approached very differently. Your way that you prepare, your mindset, your energy, everything should differ from today onwards. For that, you have to be mentally open to listen everything, whatever institute faculty tells you. And you know that post-COVID, the things and opportunities have been, enormously increasing. Those who adopts the technology, who has a professional knowledge and is going to mix it. And you are the one such bright students who can make a lot many difference in this world, lot many difference in the economy. Uh, Provided you take not just about one of the criteria is exam. Today that is important along with a few other things. And institute is doing all such activities to make you more equipped, make you technologically advanced. All such steps are taken by all the professional bodies, including ICSA instead of Company Secretary of India. And definitely the opportunities are quite wide open, provided you adopt those such smaller changes and adapt to such situations. Keeping this in mind daily, you have to look at when you get up one that sparkle in you. When I become company secretary at the earliest, that's what is required. When you put your name, there is a name called Ruchita, Shraddha, or Abhishek. Okay, when can Abhishek become CS Abhishek, or CS Shraddha, or CS Ruchita, whatever the name you have it. So I wanted you to have that in daily one morning, in 5 minutes, feel that, okay, this is what is required to do it. And have a book called as doubt book. Whatever your doubts are, start writing it. It so happens for many of the students, including my professional exams of CA or MBA or it is ICWA, the bigger problem I used to have is I don't know what I don't know. Do you all agree with me? My bigger problem is I don't know what I don't know. So I have to know my weakness. So I don't know the half I learned in bits and pieces I learned. I was not very thorough. You write down. So you write all such things very correctly. So that's called doubt book or checklist you call it. A nice book you have it. Make it a new start from today. You're prepared, but it should be a different level altogether. For that, all these are the smaller things which is very very important. And as it progresses, you learn better. You become more matured in this course. You will understand much better. And wishing you all the best and happy learning for the next few days, which is lined up to you. And the 10 days, though, you have to be fully geared up. And I know that you are, but still, that will make you more vulnerable and more adaptive to any nature of your CS examination. Wishing you all the best. And again, in one of the days, I'll try to discuss any of the thoughts I have it. Happy learning once again, and want to see you all at in the month of when result comes. You have to come with a sweet box that completed the first level. Sir, what is the next level? That I am very geared up. That day is not very far, and that too, in company secretary they give the result so quickly, so that we'll be able to meet at least that time. You can physically come and meet, and we'll want to share. We want to eat your sweet that out of the happiness that you give it to us. And same thing from us also. Wanted you to prepare to that level. Hope that you take really to the next level. And so whatever your doubts, queries, people are there to help you, guide you. Take all such benefits. And we are more happy when you start asking questions and clarify your doubts, and you clear your CS foundation or CSEET with a what I can call it much brighter, and with more coming out of this course with the flying colors. That's all, and wishing you all the happy learning and all the best for your preparation and the exam. Over to Raj Ganesh. Thank you, Aishwarya, for the opportunity to share my thoughts with the students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the words of motivation. So, students, without much delay, we'll begin with the session today. Raj Ganesh, sir, over to you.
How are you, sir, Raj Ganesh?
I'm doing fine, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Aishwarya, ma'am, I just want RGK iPad also to be co-host.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, thank you. So good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing great. So we are meeting here for CSEET revision classes now. So I'll be taking up legal aptitude for you. Yes. Super. Regarding legal aptitude and especially with regard to entire CSEET and how to face the examination, how to appear for your multiple choice questions, sir has given you enough guidance now. And based on the same lines, I'll be continuing on same lines. Even I'll be saying the same things that when it comes to CSEET or any other multiple choice questions, the main thing is the knowledge. It is not just you are by hearting something and going there and answering some fill in the blanks. It is not that way. It is the knowledge, or it is the level of application that becomes very important, especially when it comes to law. And as far as CS is concerned, company secretary course is concerned, the law is a very important pillar for you. Law is a very important pillar for you, because the entire course progresses that way, that different types of laws you have to encounter in coming days. So going on to this, based on this concept, how this CSET crash course, whatever we are going to undertake now, how is it structured is based on the legal aptitude syllabus which your ICSI has given us. Based on that, we know that for legal aptitude we have this much chapters. You can see it on the screen. That is elements of constitution, some basic elements with respect to your constitution, history of constitution, and principles, that is your preamble, fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, fundamental duties, and also with respect to what is state and what is government, what is parliament, what is state government, who is a president, all these powers, and also writs with regard to judicial capacity, with respect to judiciary, we have some basic introduction when it comes to constitution. And then it comes to general law. Next chapter is general law. Under general law, we have two important laws and two very basic, very easy laws. That is, one is Contract Act. One is Contract Act. The other one is a tort, law of tort. So this is based on Contract Act, and this has no law in specific. This is a practice. Tort is more of a practice. So it is called as law of torts. Law of torts. So that basic elements are there. Then a very small, very easy area called as CS legislature is there. CS legislature is all about how ICSI is formed, based on what ICSI is working, what is the vision, mission, who is the company secretary. These basic introductions it will give. Then elements of company law, very important chapter for your entire career. You are going to lay the foundation here. We are going to lay the foundation here for CS company law. And my assumption is watching it live for every people, I'm telling. So many people have attended the classes. Some might have done their self studies. So assumption is that you have done your basic studies when it comes to all these laws. And then the last part is legal reasoning. In that legal reasoning, we have two parts. One is your vocabulary, legal dictionary or legal vocabulary, where different word meanings are explained. The other one is application based questions. Application based on some legal principles. Application based questions, some based on some legal principles for practice. It's given. So this is what the entire structure of CSEET legal aptitude is all about. And the CSEET course, the CSEET rapid revision legal aptitude course will happen in such a way that we are assuming that you have done your studies. We are assuming that you are done. That doesn't mean I will be skipping each and every concept. I'll be explaining in brief each and every concept for you, so that you will have a clarity on each and everything. And the structure will be like, I'll be explaining it to you, and moreover, it will be like in point basis only. Everything will be appearing on the screen in point basis only. And it is not that I'll be only I'll be showing you some fill in the blanks and I'll be answering. It will not be in that way. More rather, I'll be explaining the concepts to you in depth. Concepts will be touched in depth. Examples will be given to you, so that any type of question can be answered by you with the help of these examples. So what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to regularly keep updated notes of whatever is going on in the class, to take down whatever the important points which you feel as important. And the very important point is to revise regularly after the class. You may have extended session up to evening, like 3 sessions or 2 sessions, whatever is there as per the timetable. After that, make a point that you study whatever is done in the class, so that you will not forget it. You will not forget it. So very important, very crisp, very basic concepts will be discussed in the class. So please pay attention. Anytime for any doubts, so please feel free to contact or put a message here over the chat box, so that your doubts will be cleared. If you could not cope up with clearing the doubts here, you can also clear up the doubts after the classes. So all these provisions are there for you. So anytime, any difficulty, please feel free to say. If you are not uncomfortable, if you are not able to hear properly, or if you are not clear with some concepts, yeah, since this is a crash course, or since this is a limited period course, we may rush up with some topics, or we may go with a slight faster pace. But keep in mind that it doesn't mean that I'm going to skip something, or I'm in a hurry. You can stop me anytime. You can ask doubts if at all, if something is not clear. Yes, I hope that is clear. Yes, say yes. Everybody, I want everyone to put a S there, so that I can feel that you are all with me in this journey. Yes. Yes. I hope your Josh is very high, and now it is the peak time for you. Very limited time is there, like almost 1 month. So after this crash course will go for 10 days, 20 days will be remaining in your hand. So properly planned examination you're going to write. There will be no wastage of time. It will be a jam-packed schedule for you. So I hope your spirits are very high, and whatever starts today should end after the exam itself. More than after the exam, should end after you complete your CS itself. So I hope you will be keeping your spirits high. You'll be completely participating in the session. Yes, with that promise and with that assumption, I'll be continuing with the chapter. So today's discussion will be wholly based on elements of company law. Today and almost tomorrow's half class will go for elements of company law. Then we'll be seeing company secretary legislature. After that, maybe torts we may be taking up. Then we'll be going for the Contract Act, and then finally for the Constitution. Some areas of legal reasoning topic will be covered. With this, we'll be covering up entire legal aptitude. chapter. So I hope this is the basic outline for whatever we are going to do henceforth. So in this journey, for every day 2 hours, whatever we are going to spend for next 5 days, your full attention is required. You are required to participate 100% without any compromise. Without any compromise. Yes, I hope your Joshes are high. Yes, are you all ready for it? Shall we go ahead? We'll be starting with Companies Law today, Companies Act, Companies Act. So, okay. So this is the basic introduction, and see, I'm not going to go in-depth introduction because this is not a regular class, and more than regular class, we all have this understanding of whatever what we need to study, what we need to study. It is just that what points we need to highlight, how we need to learn is what we are going to discuss here. So today we'll be dealing with the elements of company law. So before going into the entire chapter, we need to understand what company is all about. Right from your +2, right from your +1, +2, that is your PUC, you have been studying this form of organization called as company. So it is a form of business organization. So we in this economic world, we have numerous forms of business organizations. It starts from a proprietary concern. A single person can do his business. He will invest the money from his pocket. He will start a business. He will run a business, and he will earn the profit. So this is individual proprietary form of business. This requires no much compliances. It is very easy to open a proprietary form of business. Then later on, we may need some more investments. We may need some more skills. So it comes from both the ways. Capital might be required or skills might be required. It is like, for example, you are a company secretary. At the same time, another person is, company secretary doesn't hold so good. I'll take example of another thing. Let us say there's an engineer. That engineer has no money, but he has a lot of skills. There's another person who is a builder. He has a lot of money, but he lacks skills of engineering. So what he does, he gets into partnership with he gets into partnership business with this engineer, and he starts a new business. So this form of business where either capital investment will be there from both the parties or skill investment will be there. This is called as partnership form of business. This is called as partnership form of business. So right, will come together for running the business. This is called as partnership form of business. Then we also have something called as after this structure, we want to pull up the resources so that many people can participate in doing the business. Many funds can be collected, public funds can be collected, so that larger projects can be taken up, and that form of business is called as company. That form of business is called as company. So going back to history, why history is important to understand how this company form of business started. So earlier, what people used to do is people used to gather over tables for food. So this is what our ultimate aim is all about. Why we do all businesses, any form of business, take any form of business, any form of employment. You are doing CS, I am doing a chartered accountancy, or my friend is doing engineering, or other friend is doing MBBS. Someone else is doing a scientist, or someone else is preparing himself to become a faculty or teacher. Why are we going to do? We are doing this to earn our bread and butter. We are doing this to earn our bread and butter. So ultimate aim is to earn profit. Ultimate aim is to earn money. So when it comes to this form of business, what is very special about this? So earlier, what used to happen is people used to gather and they used to discuss business when they would have the food. So people used to come together for having the food. Their business would be discussed. This happens even now. If you see your family gatherings, if you see your family meets, if you see friend meets, some club, wherever you go, people, your elders will be there. See, of course, at your age or at my age, what we have different things. We have movies, we have current situations, we have cartoons, we have IPL, we have different things to discuss. Dream 11 is there, Dream 14 is there. Our dream is only one. So it might be Dream 11, it might be Dream 14. Our dream is only one, that is becoming a company secretary. So these dreams will be discussed. But elders, when they grow up, what they will do? They will be discussing business. It may be share market. It may be the current economic situation. It may be a simple reckoner trade. So what they are doing? Wherever there is a gathering, people start discussing business. So earlier, when people used to gather for food, they started discussing business. Because of this discussion, many people decided to gather and start a form of business. That form of business came to be called as companies. That form of business where many people would pull up the resources. Why company came into picture? So already proprietorship was there, partnership was there. Why we needed a company? If you ask me why we needed a company, see what happened was when partnership was there, when proprietorship was there, the business was identified by its owners. Business was not identified as a separate entity there. And liability, especially when it comes to liability, when it comes to paying of debts, if business had no enough money, persons who were behind the business were supposed to bear the loss. They were supposed to bear the debts. So in this case, what happened is people were not so much encouraged to form a business, because when a business is at large, if business is making losses, it will be good if business can bear the loss, or else business has to close down. That's it. It should not affect the owners. For this, with this mentality, and also people wanted to take up the huge projects. So this was a backlog, the unlimited liability, which would cause a loss to other forms of other people. So this was a backdrop. For this purpose, people wanted some form of organization where the liability would be limited. Liability would be limited, but there will be huge resource so that many people can contribute and many people can run the business. For this purpose, the very basic structure of company form of business was brought into force. This is what company form of business. The main essence is separation of ownership and the entity. This is what the main essence of companies. Look at any company. Reliance company is not identified with Mukesh Ambani. Mukesh Ambani is separate, Reliance is separate. Tata Sons is not identified by Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata is different, Tata is different. Or your Wipro is not identified with the Azim Premji and Wipro. Of course, they are CEOs, or they are the managing directors, or they have the shareholders, they are the owners. That is different. But when it comes to papers, when it comes to legal, we are always recognizing it as Reliance Limited. We are always referring it as Tata Sons Limited. We are referring it as Wipro. We are referring Infosys, MCF, or your LIC, anything you take. So what is happening is separation of ownership from its business, separation of ownership from its owners. This is what the basic essence. So how did it all start? How did it all start? It started with people gathering for having food. People gathering for having food. So they gave the same name. The Latin word for having food, they called it as com. Com means coming together. And punish means what? Punish means food. So they used this word and they framed a name for the organization. And that is how the entire structure of this company form of business came into picture. So you can see on the screen, come means coming together with together. Punish means bread. So to have food, you can see people are having food. Here business discussions will happen and they will decide to open a form of business. They will call this as company. They will call this as a company. So this is called as company form of business. So this is how a word is there. This is not the actual meaning of company. Company doesn't mean going there and having food. So sir, ನೀವು explain ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, company means coming together having food. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ company open ಮಾಡಿದ ಕೂಡ going and having food ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ. That doesn't mean that. Company means that is how it started. This is the word origin. This is the word origin. We have to understand the definition. We have to understand the real meaning of companies. So what is definition, sir? Definition means a word's meaning given in specific act. So you might have learned this in science and all. Science and definition, statistics and definitions, accounts and definitions. Definition means what? It is defining something. It is giving a meaning to a word. So where we have to find meaning of company? For company, we have something called as Companies Act. What is Act, sir? First of all, so Act means it is a set of rules and regulations which is formed by country's government and which is approved by the president of the country, and which is published in the legal document, that is the official gazette. This is called as Act. For different purpose, different acts will be brought into force. For this purpose, for traffic purpose, for traffic rules purpose, they have brought something called as Motor Vehicle Act. For income tax purpose, they have something called as Income Tax Act. For GST purpose, they have something called as GST Act. Or for ESI purpose, they have something called as ESI Act. For bonus purpose, they have Bonus Act. For Consumer Protection Act. They for competition purpose, Competition Act. For SEBI, that is your listing purpose, they have SEBI Act. For insurance purpose, they have something called as Insurance Act. For Banking Act. For RBI Act. Like this. For different purposes, a set of rules and regulations are brought into force, are made effective by the government. That is called as Act. Similarly, for the purpose of companies, that means with respect to all the administration, framing of companies, how companies should function, how the interest of the people should be protected, what will happen if you don't follow, what will happen if you follow, what is the time limit to do something, who is the reporting authority, if you have to file a complaint, where we have to file a complaint. For all this purpose, this set of rules and regulations have been compiled and framed into one act called as Companies Act. The most recent and the most updated and the most applicable Companies Act is Companies Act 2013. That doesn't mean before 2013 there was no Companies Act. Before 2013, there was Companies Act 1956. Even before that, we had 1918. Even before that, there were different Companies Act. Even before that, even 1982 was there, or even in the British's period also, when Joint Stock Companies Act was brought in in England, same thing was brought in India. So this Companies Act has a history. What we are seeing is the most updated to bring in line with whatever is there in the general practice. We have updated the Companies Act and we have brought a new act called as Companies Act 2013. So to understand the meaning of this company, we understood the meaning of company. We have to understand what is company now. To understand the meaning of this company, we have to go and search in Companies Act. It is not only Companies Act. Go and refer to any act. Yaude act ge hogi. If you go and refer to section 2 of the act, section 2 will be list of meanings of the word. Act ali bere word use madirtare. A word in the meaning enu. That meaning is been given under section 2 of the any act. So, for example, with respect to company, with respect to shares, with respect to directors, with respect to board of directors, with respect to company, with respect to anything you take, with respect to financial statements, with respect to financial years, anything you take, everything is listed in something called as Companies Act, section 2. Section 2 has different subsections and different meanings are given. So if you go and refer to section 2, subsection 10 of the Companies Act, section 2, subsection 20 of the Companies Act, it gives me the beautiful meaning of company. So if you ask me the meaning of company, Companies Act says company means a company. Very good. What is company? Section 2, subsection 20, Companies Act. When you go and ask Companies Act, dear Companies Act, tell me what is the meaning of company? Companies Act says company means a company. Fantastic. For this, did we need a Companies Act? Company and company. Did we need a Companies Act? It doesn't stop there. Ali stop agudilla. It goes ahead. Company means a company incorporated. Company means a company incorporated under this act or under any previous company law. So Companies Act in adiyalli yavudannu neevu company anta register ಮಾಡ್ತೀರೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾತ್ರ company ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. Sir, I and my friends have started a business. We are running a business very successfully, sir. We are earning crores and crores money there. Can we call ourselves as a company? ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ just because we are doing a business ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದಾ? We cannot call it as a company. To call it as a company, what should be done? It should be registered. Where it should be registered? It should be registered under Companies Act. This is like driving license. Sir, I drive the bicycle. I know to drive the bike. I know to drive the car. I know to drive the lorry. Does that mean you have the rights, or does that mean you are free to ride anywhere? Does that mean you are free to ride anywhere? ನಿಮಗೆ ಗಾಡಿ ಓಡಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ you are free to ride ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದಾ? You are free to ride ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದಾ? I'm asking you. When I ask you questions, you should immediately reply. Yes. Yes, my dears, please tell me. If you know, just because you know driving, can I say you are legally eligible to drive? No. Because whenever a policeman stops you, he asks for something called as license. License means what? License means official registration, official approval under Motor Vehicle Act. Under Motor Vehicle Act. Similarly, just because you people form a club and just because you people form an organization and run a business, that doesn't mean it is a company. To call it as a company, to take the benefits of everything that is written in the Companies Act, to enjoy the privilege of being company, what you have to do? You should get registered under Companies Act. That registration process is called as incorporation of company. That registration process is called as incorporation of company. So what does section 2 subsection 20 convey? Section 2 subsection 20 is saying company means a company. Okay, sir. But to call it as a company, what is important? Incorporated under what? Under this act, under the provision, under the rules and regulations of Companies Act 2013, or under any of the previous act. We had Companies Act 1956. Sir, Reliance was started in 1918 or something like that, or 19, not so sure. Okay. Reliance was, okay, before 2013 anyhow. Reliance was started before 2013. Infosys was started before 2013. Or Tata was started before 2013. MCF was started before 2013. Kingfisher was started before 2013. So does that mean they are not companies? They are companies because those are companies which are registered under previous acts. Recent companies, sir, Jio. Jio is a company. What a Reliance Infratel or Reliance Infratel or something is that. So that is a company, sir. How come? That is registered under Companies Act 2013. So it is not only Companies Act 2013, it may be previous acts also. Under any act, if it is registered, it is called as Companies Act. It is called as company. It is called as company. So this is one of the very important definition of company. Very important definition. And it is given under Companies Act 2013. It is given under Companies Act 2013, Section 2, subsection 20. Yes, there is one point. Sir, ಆದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದನ್ನು ಓದುವಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಕಂಪನಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ, ಎನಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್, ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಫೈನ್ ಸರ್. But we are not getting the actual essence of company. For that, we have to go and refer the meaning of company. As such, what is company? I gave you the brief idea of company. Now you know what is company. Company ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು? People putting in the money. For what purpose? For running a business and to earn a profit. Common mind people with common intention come and put the money, pool their resources in the form of share capital, and they want to run the business to earn the profit out of that. Such form of organization is called as company. Such form of organization is called as company. So what is company? It is an association of many persons. Company is an association of many persons who contribute money or money's worth to a common stock and employ it in some trade or business, and who share the profits and losses arising out of it. People want to run a software company. What did they do? They pulled up the resources. They pulled up the money. They started a company called as Infosys. So people coming together, investing the money and running a business out of that money, that is called as company. That is called as company. So an association of many persons who contribute money or money's worth to a common stock. Common stock means the common holding for a common purpose, and employ it in some trade or business, who share the profits and losses arising therefrom, is called as company. This is called as company. So in picture you can see this is a corporation where people will pull up the resources and they run a company. This is called as company. Tell me, are you all clear with the meaning of company, derivation of the word company, definition of company, and the word meaning of company? Tell me yes if you're with me. Yes, my dears. Yes, sir, clear 100%. Why so much in depth? Why I am explaining so much, sir? My intention is very simple. My intention is very simple. It should stick in your brain so much that any question from this area, anything with respect to these areas, if it comes, you should be in a position to answer it with the help of your applications. See, I can take up 100 questions. I will take. I'll explain each and every question. Your knowledge is restricted to only that 100 questions, not beyond that. But if I try to explain the concepts itself, what will happen? It is like that Newton's this thing is there, no? What he says? He says no. Isaac Newton says, for if someone is hungry, try him to catch a fish rather than giving him a fish. If you give one fish, what will happen? He will be happy that day. Next day, he will again come and beg you. Instead of that, if you help him or if you teach him how to fish, what will happen? He can take how much soever fish any day, anytime. So that is how it is. If you try to understand the concepts, you can write any question. If I teach one question, you'll be stick to that question only. Other than that, if I try to explain the concepts itself, you'll be expert in this field. You'll be expertising the field. So this is what is important. So going ahead, characteristics of company. We understood the meaning of the company. We have to understand the characteristic of company. As we said, the basic intention to start a company itself is corporate personality. So what is this corporate personality? It has its own personality. I will name this company as RGK and Co. Sorry, not RGK and Co. I'll name this company RGK Private Limited. RGK Private Limited. Sorry. Okay. I'll name this company as RGK Private Limited. Now what happens? Whosoever may be the shareholders, this may be R, this may be G, this may be K, this may be L, this may be S, X, Y, Z, whosoever, whoever might be the shareholders, however might be, but company will not be identified with their name. Company will be identified with its own name. Company is very different from these people. This is called as corporate legal entity, separate entity concept. If you speak from accounting perspective, we call this as separate entity concept. So business and owners are separate here. Clear distinction between the ownership and business. Owner's name will not be given to the business. Business has its own name. Business will be identified. It will be a corporate personality on its own. This is person in its own, just like me, just like you, just like that person. Same like us, this is also a person. Company is also a person. Artificial person created by law. It is a loss kit. How did you create? By registering it under Companies Act. The moment you register, it becomes an independent entity. If you are going to purchase an asset, you will be purchasing in its name. If you are going to enter into a contract, you are going to enter in its name. If you are going to sell anything, you are going to do it in its name. If you're going to buy anything, you are going to do it in its name. If you are going to file a case also, you are going to do it in its name. This is called as corporate personality. So this corporate personality helps in different ways. This corporate personality helps in different ways. Let us try to understand how this corporate personality actually works. For that purpose, we have very standard case law. Can you please recall which case law? Those people who have revised it, can you please recall which case law gives us a clear identification of corporate personality concept or benefit of corporate personality concept? Yes, my dears, I want each one of you to reply. Come on, very famous case law. Any law student who has learned company law will answer this. Please tell me. Yes, my dears. Waiting for your answers. Salman versus Salman and Company. Salman versus Salman and Company. Is it that? Is it that? Yes, Salman versus Salman and Company is a very famous case law which tells us the difference between the owner and the shareholder. Owner and the company. Owner and the company. So let us understand this. Let us understand so that we can have a clarity. So this person, Mr. Solomon, there was a person, Mr. Solomon. What he used to do? He used to manufacture shoes and sell them. So this was Mr. Solomon. Mr. Solomon was there. Solomon used to manufacture shoes. So one fine day, what happened? This Solomon, as usual, as like us, like me and you, what he had a family, one wife, 4 sons, and a daughter. This was Solomon's family. So Solomon was very hardworking. Solomon's business grew like anything. Solomon was very famous for his shoes. One fine day, what happened? His son comes to him and says, Papa, we want to join the business. We want to join the family business. So Solomon thinks, okay, since I have 4 sons and daughter and wife, why not I open a company? Why not? I'll open a company. So he opens a company called as Solomon and Co Limited. Solomon and Co Limited. He opens a company. So company is a separate person now. This company is opened. What is the structure of the company? If you ask me, what is the structure of the company? The company had shares. Solomon had one share. Wifey had 1 share. Daughter had 1 share. Son 1 had 1 share. Son 2 had 1 share. Son 3 had 1 share. Son 4 had 1 share. So like this, 7 shares were allotted among themselves. And a company was incorporated. Very good. Then what did Solomon do? Solomon sold this business to Solomon and Company. Solomon sold the business. Sir, selling the business how? Selling the assets and liabilities. Selling the business means selling your assets and liabilities, everything. And henceforth, Solomon and Company will be running the business. So Solomon sold his business. In return, he was paid compensation. He was paid compensation or consideration. You know, Under Contract Act, you have studied, for every contract to be valid, there should be a consideration. Same thing applied. For this contract, they give consideration. How? Some in the form of shares, some in the form of debentures, which are secured, some in the form of cash. Little cash was paid, little shares were given to him, little secured debentures were given. Sir, what is the meaning of secured debentures? Secured debenture means they are secured against the company's assets. Means what? Tomorrow, if debentures cannot be repaid, if debentures cannot be repaid, then company's assets can be sold to recognize the debenture value. The person who is holding the debenture has the right to sell the assets and recover the money, or ask the company to sell the asset and recover the money. This is secured debentures. So this is how the money was allotted. This is how the money was allotted. And the company, Solomon and Company, for Solomon and Company, of course, shares were there, debentures were there. In the asset side, it has assets. It had assets, and also it had cash. It had cash. So now company has to run the business. For that purpose, company took short-term loan, unsecured loan. Unsecured loan ತಗೊಂಡಿತ್ತು. Sir, ಯಾಕೆ ಸರ್ ಫಿಗರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ? Just because to avoid confusion. Amount ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, and it is not so important when it comes to application. For us, application is very important. That is why I am not taking any amounts now. So, okay, unsecured loan ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ there is no security for that. Whenever the business has money, it will be paid. If no money, gone. Okay, unsecured loan was taken from a bank. Unsecured loan was taken from a bank. Now what happened? One fine day, the company's assets were around 6,000, whereas company's liability came up to 11,000 rupees. Just for example purpose, this means what I want to tell that company's assets were less than company's liabilities. That means company's assets were not sufficient to pay the liabilities of the company. On seeing this, what did our Solomon do? Solomon was owner of this debenture. What did Solomon do? Solomon asked the company to sell the assets and give back his money. Solomon asked the company to sell his assets and give back his money. Company did it. Company did it. And now the moment company sold the assets and gave the money to Solomon, these unsecured people, what did they do? They went to the court of law and said, see sir, Solomon and his company are one and the same. Solomon and his company are one and the same. So we should be paid first. We should be paid first because it is owner. Owner is taking the money. Owner is taking his own money by selling his assets. That is not valid. If company is going into losses, we should be paid for. Observed the facts and figures of the case, and court finally said Solomon and Company are two separate entities. The moment you register an organization in the name of company, what happens? The owner and the company are two different things now. Whatever the business that happens in company has no relevance or no relation to what happens in business, what happens in owner's life. Or whatever happens in owner's life has no effect on whatever happens in the company. So in this case, since Solomon was a secured creditor. Solomon was a secured creditor. He this is what the outcome of Solomon versus Solomon and Co. Solomon versus Solomon and Co. Tell me yes if you understood this fact of Solomon versus Solomon and Co. Yes, my dears. Did you understand this clearly? 100% clarity, separate legal entity. Whenever separate legal entity, corporate personality, all these things are discussed, you should remember Solomon. Who is our God for separate legal entity? Solomon. Every time this type of question comes, apply the principles of Solomon and Solomon. Any type of multiple choice question comes in this area, remember Solomon. So Solomon should be the God for answering this type of questions. Yes. Questions can be asked directly from Solomon. They may twist the facts and they may ask, or maybe Lee Farming Company, or maybe Kundoli Chai or tea estates. All these things can be asked. Yes. So this is corporate personality. Coming to limited liability. Next one is limited liability. Very important feature and very attractive feature of a company form of business. What is liability? Liability means owner or owner's obligation to pay the debts of the business. In this case, I am restricting the meanings definition, words definition to this case only. Liability has very different meaning. Liability is an obligation to pay someone. Duty to pay someone is called as liability. Illy, specifically, what is a liability? What liability we are speaking? Owner's liability to repay business debts. Owner's liability to repay business debts. We are speaking about owner's liability to repay the business debts. If you come to proprietary form of business, say, let us say you are running a pan shop, pan bida stall. You are the proprietor of that business. You have taken a lot of loans in different banks. Your business is going in losses. Now, what will banker do? Banker will say, you are the owner of the business. We will hold you liable. We will hold you liable. You have to sell your personal property and pay the debts of the business. Pay the debts of the business. This is liability in case of proprietary. But when it comes to company, how is the liability decided? How is the liability decided? Let us say a company has share capital of 1 lakh rupees, which is given by 100 people. 100 people have contributed in total 1 lakh rupees. So each person contributed how much? If it is equal share, each person contributed how much? Each person contributed 1,000 rupees. Each person contributed 1,000 rupees. Now what happens? Tomorrow, if business is going into losses, the maximum amount this person will lose, every person this 100 will lose 1,000 rupees only. ಎಷ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? 1,000 rupees ಮಾತ್ರ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ will be used and hence nothing will be left out. So maximum liability is 1,000 rupees. Limited liability. Maximum liability is 1,000 rupees. This is called as limited liability. Sir, out of this 100, 20 people are yet to pay 50 rupees. 500 rupees. 20 jana 500 rupees payment madlike pending ide. So 20 into 500 how much? 10,000 rupees barlike pending ide. Still 10,000 rupees has to be paid. 10,000 rupees has to be paid. Tomorrow yes, my dear Abhishek, please mute yourself. Okay. So I was speaking about this. So this is case one. Case one is very simple. Case one, all the people have paid. Company is going into losses. Everybody will lose 1,000 rupees. Everybody will lose 1,000 rupees. Case two. In case two, what is happening? 20 people are yet to pay 500, whereas balance 80 people have paid 1,000 rupees. 80 people have paid 1,000 rupees. 80,000 is paid. 90,000 is paid because 20 people have already paid 500 rupees. Balance 10,000 is yet to be paid. Company is going into losses. What will they do? Company will ask these 20 people to pay 10,000 rupees immediately. Sir, company is going into losses. We want money. Come. So what these people have to pay? They have to pay maximum 10,000 rupees. That's it. Per person 500 rupees. Done. After that, they even need not see at the company. They will say, company loss. 1,000 rupees loss. Nothing more. Nobody can. Bankers cannot come to the owner's house and say, CC, your company is going into losses space. Bankers cannot say because liability is very limited. Liability is limited here. So this is case two. There is another type of company called as company limited by guarantee. How does this work? So this company has no shares. Money will be arranged some other way. Here, people will guarantee. Let us say 10 persons have guaranteed to pay rupees 10,000 each. When they have to pay, only when the company goes into losses. When company goes into losses, these people have to pay 10,000 rupees. What is their maximum liability when company goes into losses? 10,000 rupees. That's it. Win-win. So maximum liability is 10,000 rupees. The moment 10,000 rupees is paid, they are free from liability. This is called as a limited liability concept, which is very essential and very essence of this company form of business. Yeah, sir. First point only we have clarified. Company and owner are separate. Whatever the company does, it will be in the name of company. Whatever the owner does, it will be in the name of owner. So obviously, when company incurs loss, why should owner bear? Owner's responsibility is only to the extent of money he has given. That is it. That is what is called as limited liability. That is called as limited liability. Did you understand the concept? Please tell me yes if you are clear with this concept of limited liability. Very important, very important concepts. We are speaking about the features of the company, and I hope this is very clear for you. Yes. Next one is perpetual succession. Continuous succession. Perpetual succession means continuous succession. People may come and go. People may enter into the business. People may go out of the business. Directors may come and go. Owners may die. Owners may die. But a company will remain to continue forever. Company will continue forever. Company will continue forever until it is shut down or until it is wound up. So perpetual succession means what? It is not that owner dies, company dies. It is not that way. Sir, ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಪಾನ್ ಬೀಡಾ ಶಾಪ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಸರ್. ಗಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪಾನ್ ಬೀಡಾ ಶಾಪ್. I am the proprietor. I am the only owner, sir. I die. Business also die. There is no continuity for the business. Partnership, sir. 5 people have done the partnership. They are running the business. One partner dies. Obviously, the old partnership will come to an end. They have to do a new partnership there because old partner is done, died. Party to the contract is over. But when it comes to company, even though all the shareholders will die, company will continue to exist because company and owners are two different things. Everything is deriving from that basic thing only, corporate entity, corporate personality thing only. Perpetual succession means what? Company will continue to exist for a longer period of time, irrespective of its owners, irrespective of its management. This is called as perpetual succession. Sir, what is this image you are showing, sir? Let us say these are all the directors of, these are all the shareholders of company X Limited. Let us say these are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are all the shareholders. Who are they? They are the shareholders of a company. They are all the shareholders of the company. So one fine day, what they did? One fine day, they decided, okay, let us have a tour of shareholders. After all this corona and all, they were all frustrated. They decided to have a tour. So one fine day, they were going to Jog Falls. They were going to Jog Falls. You know Jog Falls, right? They were going to Jog Falls, and one of the person was very rude in his driving. He did not care for anything, and they met with an accident. What happened? Every person died due to the accident. Every person died due to the accident. What will happen? Will the X Limited close? Will X Limited close? Will X Limited close? Or will X Limited continue to exist? All the directors have died, sir. All the directors died, sir. What to do, sir? Will company continue or will company also die? Company should continue. Company should continue because it is a separate legal entity, irrespective of the owner. Owners will change. Obviously, their legal heirs will get it. Shares. Legal heirs. Law ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತದೋ ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ತದದು. But company, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ irrespective of who are the owners, irrespective of who are the directors, company will continue to exist. Company will continue to exist. This is what is called as perpetual succession. They say when a meeting has been conducted, let us say shareholders meeting is going on. All the shareholders have attended the meeting. There is a bomb blast. When bomb blast happens, will the company continue? Company will continue. Company will continue. When to close a company? Company has to be formally closed. You have created the company with the help of law. You will close the company with the help of law only. You have to wind up the company. You have to tell to the Companies Act that we want to close the company. You have to follow the steps and procedures. Only then you can close the company. It is not that just because a person dies, company will die. Company will not die. Since company is opened with the help of law, you have to close the company with the help of law only. You have to close the company with the help of law only. You have to wind it up formally. You are winding it up. You are closing the company. You have to merge the company with some other company. You have to amalgamate the company with someone else. This is called as closing of company. So perpetual succession. Is that clear? Yes, my dears. Are you all clear with this? Shall I proceed? Chalo. Next point. Separate property. Very good. Separate property, sir. So when you have your own name, when you have your own name, when you have the capacity to buy the things, when you have capacity to enter into contract, what will you do? You will purchase everything in your own name. Company's properties will not be kept in owner's name. Company's properties will be kept in the name of company only. If Reliance Limited is purchasing computer, the computer will be in the name of Reliance Limited. If LIC is having a building, the building will be in the name of LIC. If Camco Limited is having, sorry, Camco Limited, if ITC is having a machinery, that machinery will be in the name of ITC only. You can see a lot of things I have done in the screen. A lot of things are written here. What are this? Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Nike, Google. What are these? These are nothing but trademarks. These are nothing but registered trademarks. Even these are the properties of the company. Sir, this Google trademark is there now. Whose asset is it? It belongs to Google Inc. This Coca-Cola, it belongs to Coca-Cola company. Nike, it belongs to Nike. McDonald's, it belongs to McDonald's. Even the intangible asset or intangible asset, everything is owned by the company itself. Separate property. So this is not that Google. So Google trademark is, the owner of the Google trademark is Sundar Pichai. It is not that way. Owner of Apple is Steve Jobs. This, whatever the logo is there, whatever the trademark is registered, we call it as intangible asset. We call it as intangible asset. You cannot see where the asset is, but you can know that there's a right to enjoy. And this intangible asset, whatever it is, tangible or intangible, everything is owned by company. It is the property of the company. It belongs to the company. It may be physical asset or it may be intangible asset. Everything belongs to the company. A land of company. So when a land is registered in the name of Reliance, when the land is registered in the name of Reliance, it doesn't mean owner of the land is Ambani. It is not that owner of the land is Ambani. It belongs to Reliance only. It belongs to Reliance only. Is that clear for you? Separate property. Is it clear? Very simple point. Separate property. Once you know corporate entity concept, everything should be clear. One by one, it gets linked one by one. So repeating, right from section 220, whatever we have studied, section 2, subsection 20, we understood what is a company. What is a company? A company is a company which is incorporated under this act or any other previous act. Okay. Then we understood different features, out of which first one was corporate personality. Second one was perpetual succession, unlimited liability. Third one is perpetual succession. Fourth one is separate property. Fifth one is transferability of shares. Transferability of shares means what? Share is the right in the company, your ownership right in the company. So if you have shares of any company, say Karnataka Bank, you have shares of Syndicate Bank, you have shares of Infosys, you have shares of Tech Mahindra, you have shares of Mahindra and Mahindra, or you have shares of ITC, you have shares of Infosys, you have shares of MRF, you have shares of Britannia, anything you name. So what are these? These are the ownership rights. Now you can sell the shares easily. You can change the ownership easily. This will not happen in proprietary form of business. In proprietary form of business, sir, nannadu idu business, sir, nanidan transfer ಮಾಡಿ ಆಗ್ತದ? No. It will be his business. ಯಾರಿಗೆ transfer ಅವನಿಗೆ business. Business main essence ಉಳಿಯುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Business main essence will not hold good or will not remain. Partnership form of business ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಅನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್. But shares are not that way. Shares can be easily transferred. Transferability of shares. Shares can be handed over from one person to another person. Or if person dies, it gets transferred to his legal heirs. So because what happens to share has no relevance to what happens to company. Share na owner yaru, company relevance illa. Company yaru shareholder iddare. Okay, fine, no problem. So transferability of share is also very much important feature of a company. Next one is contractual rights. Right to enter into a contract in its own name. So Tata Sons on the contract enter agudidre, it will not be entered in the name of Ratan Tata. It will be entered in the name of Tata Sons only. It will be entered in the name of Tata Sons only. Or say any other company you take, any other company, or maybe your Wipro. If Wipro has to enter into a contract, Azim Premji's name will not be mentioned. It will be in the name of company only. The registration of contracts will happen in the name of company only. If company has to purchase a building, if company has to purchase a land, if you see the agreement will be made in the name of company itself and not in the name of owners. Not in the name of owners. That is called as contractual rights. So contractual rights means what? When there is right, of course, it has remedy also. Contractual remedy also. What is contractual remedy? If contract is not fulfilled, company can file a case. If contract is not fulfilled, company in its own name can file a case. That is what you. If company is not performing, someone can file a case in the name of company itself. So let us say Hitesh has a company now. Hitesh has established a company, say, let us say Zoom Limited, Zoom Private Limited. Hitesh has incorporated one new company called as Zoom Private Limited. Zoom Private Limited enters into a contract with me. Zoom Private Limited enters into a contract with me. In the name of Zoom Private Limited only, I will not use the word Hitesh. I will use Zoom Private Limited. It enters into contract with me. Now, tomorrow, if I fail to perform the conditions of the contract, Zoom Limited can file a case in its own name against me. So, case ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ? Zoom Private Limited versus Raj Ganesh ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. Because it has the capacity to sue. If Zoom Private Limited fails to do the contract, what remedy I have? I can file a case in the name of Zoom Private Limited. I will RGK versus Zoom Private Limited. So contractual right to ಇದೆ. Contractual right ಇಂದಾಗ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ? Wherever there is right, there is a remedy. So remedy ಬರುವಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ? Either company can file a case or something can be filed against company in the name of the company itself. In the name of company itself. Tell me yes if you are clear with both the points. I have clubbed these points since they are related to each other. I hope you are clear with this. Tell me yes if you understood. Yes, my dears, everybody, those who are seeing over YouTube also, everybody. This is live, getting live streamed also, right? So, okay, everybody is clear with this. I hope it is clear to you. Shall I proceed? Okay. Separate management, separation of ownership and management. Sir, I have a shop, sir. Shop ani yavaga open madbeku, shop ani yavaga close madbeku. Let us say our Nishant has a shop. Nishant has a petty shop. He runs a petty shop. Tomorrow, Nishant's brother's marriage. Tomorrow, Nishant's brother is going to get married. So, what will Nishant do? Nishant will close the shutter, lock it, go. So, what happened here? Separation of ownership and management is not there. Owner and management both are same. Nishant is the owner. Nishant will manage the business. Proprietary form of business. Even in partnership form of business, what will happen? This is very brief, very hypothetical example I give. But decision making, management means was decision making for day-to-day businesses. Decision making for day-to-day businesses. That is what management does. Management in the main ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು? Day-to-day business ಗೆ decision ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು. That is what management does. So, Nishantನ business ಇದ್ರೆ, if it is Nishant's business, he will take the decision. What is right and what is wrong, what is to be done and what is not to be done. Everything. Employee ಅನ್ನು recruit ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ purchase ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ? Sales ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ? ಕೆಲವು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಬಿಡಬೇಕಾ, ಬಿಡದೇ ಇರಬೇಕಾ, ಅಂಗಡಿಯನ್ನು ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಓಪನ್ at 9 o'clock. No, I don't want to open. Everything will be decided by Nishant. In partnership firm, partners will decide. ಅಲ್ಲಿ majority partners ಹೇಗೆ decide ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ business. If there are 3 partners, 2 of partners agree. ಇಲ್ಲ, in some cases all the partners should agree. ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೊಸ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ಬರುವಾಗ, ಒಬ್ಬ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ತೆಗೆಯುವಾಗ, for all this all partners consent is required. So in all these cases, partner, there is no separation of ownership and management. Owners and management are one and the same. But when it comes to company, it is not that way. Owners are spread across different areas. So they say Infosys na share ಅಮೆರಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ NASDAQ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. So NASDAQ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ? Americans can also invest. That means Infosys has owners from America also, USA also. ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ವೈಡ್ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಬೇರೆ 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 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. Now, is it possible practically to take a decision? You will be calling all the shareholders. Imagine a company has lakhs of 1 lakh shareholder. To take a decision, you will be calling each and every shareholder. Sir, okay, abedwa, okay, abedwa. Is it practically possible? Impossible. It is impossible, practically impossible. For that purpose, what will happen? For managing the companies, you will appoint a separate set of people called as board of directors. ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಒಂದು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. those are called as board of directors. Those will be called as board of directors. So what happened? Owners and the company are owners and managers of the company are 2 different persons. So you can see there in the image, shareholders are all sitting. So what is happening in the business is explained to shareholders by the directors. He is director, she is also a director, she is also a director. These are all shareholders. They are sitting and listening. They can't take the decisions. Decisions will be taken by these people. Decisions will be taken by these people because they are endorsed or they are given with the right to take decisions for day-to-day business activities, to take decisions for day-to-day business activities. This is what is called as separation of management. Separation of management means owners are different, managers are different. Management is given in the hands of board of directors who will look after the day-to-day affairs of the company. Owners have the right to appoint these directors, but day-to-day business activities, decision making ali, sir, nange bank in the ದುಡ್ಡು ತೆಗಿಬೇಕು, ನಾನು shareholder ಗೆ phone ಮಾಡುವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, be consulted. Company wants to sell the goods, shareholders will not be called, directors will be referred. Company wants to purchase a land, shareholders will not be asked, directors will be asked. So this is what happens in case of separation of management. This can be decided by directors na kayali. Sometimes business may go mistracked. Sometimes, I'm not saying always. Sometimes this may happen. Okay, this is separation of management. Coming to next point, termination of existence. This is what Shraddha was asking at that time. Termination. So this company has gone to National Company Law Tribunal, NCLT, for winding up. Company door he's explaining this company has gone for winding up. So just because shareholders satru antadre company close agudilla, you have to go formally for something called as winding up. You have to apply to say, you have to tell to the department, MCA ideyalla, MCA hatra helbeku, sir, MCA sir, I want to close my business. Agtilla sir, business run madlikke agtilla, please help me closing the business. Then he will verify everything and he will issue winding up certificate. So hege when you born, you will get something called as birth certificate. Similarly, when a company is created, you will get something called as incorporation, certificate of incorporation. Same type, death certificate siktade. Hage death is natural, but company's death is not natural. Company's death is legal process. Company's death is legal process. So you may have come across lot of reports, newspaper report alli bandirtade, you know, due to pandemic, due to this corona, many companies are going for winding up because they can't run the business run ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, we are planning for winding up, ನಾವು business ಅನ್ನು close ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. The word itself says winding up, ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುದು ಅಂತ. That is, you are closing and going, winding up. Early morning when you rise up, what will do? If you are ಈ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಮಲ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೆಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ವೈಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? That is what the word is, winding up. So this is what the very basic concept of company. So with this, we covered up major features of the company, very important features of the company. So I want all of you to repeat. When I say please repeat, sit there and read aloud or memorize aloud so that everything remains in your brain. So what are the features of the company? Starting from one thing, corporate personality. First one, repeat again and again. Whatever I say, please repeat whatever you are sitting. Okay, so first one, whenever I say what is the first feature, that is corporate personality. Second one, limited liability. Third one, yes sir. What is third one? Third one is perpetual succession. Who's that? Mr. Gautam, you're talking to me. Nanatra maatadtidra. Gautam yaar hatra maatadtidri? Nanatra maatadtidra? Okay, sit and repeat. I don't want you to unmute alla madbedi, circus alla madbedi, kutonde heli saku. Okay, corporate personality. First one is corporate personality, second one is limited liability, third one is perpetual succession, fourth one is separate property, fifth one is transferability of shares, sixth one is contractual rights, seventh one is capacity to sue or be sued, separate management, termination of existence. These are the features of a company. These are the features of a company. I hope it is clear to you. Yes, everybody. Sukesh, please unmute yourself. Mute yourself. Don't unmute. Are you all clear with this? 100% clarity. Very important things. These are very important things. Yes, sir. I hope you're, is it like monotonous, very boring, or you're enjoying it? How is it? You're enjoying it? Arthakti class. You're all comfortable with this? I have to ask it, right? You're comfortable with this? You're comfortable with the pace? Yes. I want all of you to reply. Everybody should reply. We have here 31 members. 31 ali 31 kuda reply madbeku. 31 plus others. Super. Going ahead. So you said, sir, company is a separate person. Okay, agreed, sir. Person. Can you hear me? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Okay, 1 second. Let me share the screen first, okay? Okay. You said, sir, company is a separate person. Agreed. Company has its own existence. Agreed. Legal identity ಇದೆ. ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಅದರದೇ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಬಹುದು. ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅದರ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲೇ ಹಾಕಬಹುದು. Everything is understood. But whether company is a citizen, company citizen ಅಂತ recognize ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So we have a clarity there. Company is not a citizen under Citizenship Act. We are speaking from India's perspective now. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಗೆ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಸರ್? ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. This company incorporated in India, we call it as Indian company, other company, Pakistani company, Chinese company, everything will say. But the nationality ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಸರ್? How will you identify the nationality of any company? So it says it is the domicile. Its domicile is the place of its registration, and that domicile clings to it throughout its existence. Domicile means house of residence. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ domicile. So you might be now at Udupi, or you might be at now at Mangalore or Bangalore anyway. Let us say your house is at Mangalore. Your house is located in Mangalore. ನಿಮ್ಮ domicile ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ? Your domicile is Mangalore ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ. You may wander around the world. You may wander around India, across India. You may wander around the world, but still your domicile remains in India. Your domicile remains in. I am audible, right? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ? Yes. Okay. Your domicile will still remain in Mangalore. Your domicile will still remain in Mangalore. Similarly, ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಡೊಮಿಸೈಲ್. ಹೌ ವಿಲ್ ಯು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ ಡೊಮಿಸೈಲ್? ಡೊಮಿಸೈಲ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಕಂಪನಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ Mangalore, that is its domicile. You get a company registered in Delhi, that is its domicile. You get a company registered in Gujarat, that is its domicile. So domicile is attached. Domicile is the place of registration, and it is attached throughout the life, throughout its existence, throughout the life of the company, throughout the life of the company. Yes, this is about nationality. So to identify that, I have just shown this image. Okay, no problem. So let us go ahead. Next is a very important and very interesting concept, that is called as corporate veil. We have to see what is corporate veil. Sir, we said that corporate personality is a very essential feature of every company. So because of which, what is happening? There is a separation of ownership and the existence of the company. So this is an advantage actually. This is an advantage. Yake sir, ನೀವು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿ, it will be in the name of company. Whether it is good, whether it is bad, whether it is loss, whether it is profit, everything will be in the name of company. Everything will be in the name of company. But yeah, this parda or this layer which separates the owner from the company, which separates the ownership from the existence, is called as corporate veil. You can see in the image, This is the company. There's a wheel which cannot be seen. Here we are, for pictorially we are depicting it as seen. So this wheel, this layer, thin layer, which separates the owners from the company. If I say this company as WHO Limited, if this is a company called as WHO Limited, now what happens? You will identifying this company, you will be knowing this company. This company will carry out its activities in the name of WHO Limited and not in the name of XYZ who are its shareholders. And not in the name of XYZ who are its shareholders. XYZ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ company run ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, whereas company will be running in the name of WHO Limited because it is a separate company. Because of this layer called as corporate wheel. So what is corporate wheel? A legal concept. Corporate wheel means what? A legal concept that separates the personality of a company from the personality of its owners. So this is like your children and parents. So first ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಅವರ ಮಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವರ ಮಗಳು ಅಂತ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. But once you grow up and once you develop on your own, what they will say, they will be recognized in your own name rather than your parents. So this is what is separating from you from your parents. Similar, ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗುವಾಗ, sir please sir don't unmute yourself. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೇನೆ, who is it? It is creating trouble here. Okay. Since many people are there here, it will be problematic. So please take care of this. Adannu conscious agi nodkolli, unmute agada hage nodkolli. Okay. Okay. Otherwise, I'll only block it. You cannot mute yourself. You cannot unmute yourself. Okay, done. Okay, chalo. So this thin layer separates the owners from the company. So whatever is there, you can see, and protects them from being personally liable for company's debts and other obligations. So what is the feature? This feature is very good. This feature is very good because everything will be in the name of company. The owner will not. Some people may not. Some people, ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಎದುರು ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಲ್ಲ. Some people will be like, I'll invest the money, but my name should not come. So this is the best organization where your name will not come. But this can be misused. This can be misused for fraudulent purpose. Sir, I want to do some fraud, sir. I want to collect money from the people and run away. ನಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಹತ್ರ 1 lakh rupees collect ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So 31 people are there, 30 people are there, 30 people hatra 1 lakh rupees. So I want to collect 30 lakh rupees and run away. What I will do? I will open a company. I will name it as some this one, Bogus Limited. I will name it as Bogus Limited, and I will issue advertisements or something like that saying that this company, if you pay the money will be doubled. Money will be doubled after 3 years. Money will be doubled after 3 years. So this offer I'll give, and we'll all be like, okay, sir has said company is very good. Company form of business is always secure. So obviously company will not cheat. You people will come blindly. Everybody 30 after 30 will come. Sir's company, our own sir's company. ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳುದಿಲ್ಲ. Company, sir's company ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. Okay, you'll say this is a company, and you'll come. You will pay 1 lakh rupees each. You'll pay 1 lakh rupees each. After collection from everybody, I'll run away. Tomorrow, you cannot file a case against me because corporate personality. New company against case ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ನಾಳೆ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ? Company should sit in jail, which is practically impossible. In these situations, an activity will be done, that is lifting of corporate. That is what? Lifting of corporate will. You can see there 2 judges. One is saying don't talk. Here one person is enjoying his life. Maybe some fraud. After doing some fraud, this person is enjoying. Here someone is lifting a curtain to see who is behind it. What is his intention? That is called as lifting of corporate wheel. Lifting of corporate wheel, piercing of corporate wheel means what? You are trying to see behind the corporate personality. You are going to search behind the person or company and to understand who is behind it and what is their intention, why the company is getting treated. This is called as lifting of corporate. So ಇದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲವರು ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬಿಂಗ್, ಟೀಚರ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಒನ್ ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಯಾರ್ದು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಟೀಚರ್ ಹೋಗಿ HM ಹತ್ರ ಏನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡವರೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ HM what he will do, he will come, he will know that it is not all the last benchers, some of the last benchers. So what he will do, he will lift the wheel, last bench ಅಂತ ಪರದೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. He will see who is the person, who is the actual person who is creating the trouble, who is the actual person who is creating the trouble. This is what lifting of corporate wheel is all about. ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಫೆಸಿಡ್ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ, ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಲೇಯರ್ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದು ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಕಂಪನಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರುವ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು, ಆಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು, that will be understood, that will be understood. This is called as lifting of corporate wheel. Very important concept, very interesting concept, lifting of corporate wheel. When will the corporate wheel be lifted is important. ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊಲೊಮನ್ ವರ್ಸಸ್ ಸೊಲೊಮನ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತು, ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಪರೇಟ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ದ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್. ಸಿ ಲಿಫ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗುದು, when court feels that there is a fraud happening here, when court feels that there is some disturbance of public policy, when court feels that you are dealing with an enemy. We'll see one by one example. So corporate wheel is normally lifted under two situations. One is statutory provisions. Companies act ಹೇಳ್ತದೆ ಈ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನೀವು, that is statutory provisions. Under the statute when it is said that corporate wheel has to be lifted, that is one situation where corporate wheel will be lifted. Otherwise judicial decisions ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೇನು, previously decided case laws, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ವೀಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯುಟರಿ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್, ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್. ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ 1% ಕಂಪನಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 2 persons, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 7 persons. These are the minimum number of persons to run a business. Now, suddenly one person dies, or one person goes out of the company. So we have started a private company. We have started a private company. Two shareholders are there, out of which one walks away. ಅವನಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶೇರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವನಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬನಿಗೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. Now, obviously the members have reduced. To call it as a private limited company, there should be 2 members, membership reduces. Act says you have 6 months time. You have 6 months time. ಈ 6 months ಒಳಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಹೊಸ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, your company is fine, no problem. But beyond 6 months, ಆ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸರಿ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, if you have not rectified the reduction of members, whatever the loss the business will suffer, business ಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬರ್ತದೋ, ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬರ್ತದೋ, the shareholders will be personally liable ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. This is one situation where corporate wheel is lifted and straight away the shareholders are punished. Next one, the refund of application money. Similarly, I said now, I opened a company. On company open ಮಾಡಿದೆ with my some colleagues. I opened a company. My intention was to take money and run away. What did I do? I issued share applications. You all subscribed. In that manner, I collected 1 crore rupees and I ran away. I did not allot the shares. ನಿಮಗೆ shares ಅನ್ನೇ allot ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಓಡಿದೆ. Now what will company do? The court will do. Court will lift the corporate wheel, see who is behind the company, and say this person was there, this person ran away, punish him. Even in this case, corporate wheel is lifted. Misdescription of company name ಅನ್ನು wrong ಆಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, if you take money, ಯಾರು ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಹೆಸರನ್ನು ಮಿಸ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದಾರೋ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, not to the company. Fraudulent trade. If company is doing some fraud, if the company itself is set up for some fraud purpose, obviously the persons who behind the company will be punished. Because illadre enaagtade, this will be an easy escape. Enaagtade nimage illadidre, this is an easy escape. Easy escape ಹೇಗಾಗ್ತದೆ ಸರ್? ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕುದು. ಕಂಪನಿ cannot be obviously jailed. ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So you will not be punished. ಮಾಡಿದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು, ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡದ್ ನೀವು, ಫ್ರಾಡ್ ಇಂದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡದ್ ನೀವು, ಬಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇನ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಇದಾಗಿ ನೀವು ಸೇಫ್ ಆಗ್ತೀರಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟಿಸ್. So for that purpose, the corporate veil is lifted and the persons behind the company will be seen, will be torched, and only then will be punished. This is what corporate lifting of corporate veil is. These are statutory provisions. Statutory provisions ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ Companies Act itself, in the Companies Act, ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಈ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಪನಿಷಬಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೀಗಿದೆ. Tell me yes if you have understood this. Next I'll go for judicial decisions where different examples will be given. If you have understood this, please tell me you are clear with this. 100% you have in clarity. Yes sir. Super. Okay, next is judicial decisions. Judicial decisions ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಸರ್? Previously ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ different circumstances, when did the court lift the corporate veil? When did the court lift the corporate veil? Judicial decisions. So if court feels that the company is created for purpose of evading the tax evasion na purpose itkonde ನೀವು ಕಂಪನಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಕಂಪನಿ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರೆ, so I'll give an example of this. There was a person called as Dinsha Manekji, who was a very rich person. Dinsha Manekji was a very rich person, exorbitantly rich he was. He had a lot of money, of which he had invested the money in different companies. He had invested in shares of the company. He had invested in different shares. Very company shares invest ಮಾಡಿ. Of course, when he invests the money in shares, he would get something called as dividend. He would get something called as dividend. You can see the screen. Screen ಕಾಣ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Hello, am I audible? Okay. So I was speaking about this Dinsha Manekji case. So what happens in Dinsha Manekji? Let us see. Here we are, right? Okay. So Dinsha Manekji was there. This Dinsha Manekji, what he had, he was a very exorbitantly rich person. What he used to do, he had a lot of investments. And he would get something called as dividend. For which he was supposed to pay the tax. This person, what did he do? He created 4 companies. Company 1, company 2, company 3, company 4. He was one of the shareholders of the company. So this person created 4 companies. Company 1, company 2, company 3, company 4. And he transferred his investments to these companies. Now trustee ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಟ್ರಸ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಬೇರೆಯವರ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ದಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. You are keeping it as trustees. So he said that these companies are trustee companies and his investments will be taken care by these companies. So he transferred his investments to these companies. Okay. So these investments were divided and transferred to these companies. Now what happened is, whatever the dividends these companies received from these investments were given to Dinsha as loan. This loan was never repaid. Income tax department came in. Income tax department searched. Income tax department said Dinsha Manekji is cheating. Dinsha Manekji is cheating. So we want a thorough investigation. So court lifted the, so Dinsha Manekji said, no, I and companies are separate. We have no relationship. I'm just the owner. Whatever the company does, company does. If you have a problem with the company, go and file the case on company. I'm not responsible for this. So income tax department asked the court of law to lift the corporate wheel. Court lifted the corporate wheel and saw that these companies were created by Dinsha Manekji exclusively for frauding the taxes, exclusively for evading the taxes. So court said, even though the transactions are done in the name of company, Dinsha Manekji will be personally liable. He should pay the penalty for the transaction. He should pay the penalty for the transaction. This is one case where your corporate wheel is getting lifted. Second one, to determine the enemy character of the company. To determine the enemy character of the company, I'll give a simple example. You can easily relate this example. Let us say there is a company called as TikTok Limited. Your favorite company, TikTok Limited. There is a company called as TikTok Limited, which is incorporated in Delhi. Indian company, Delhi. Now, let us say government of India. This is not actually case law. I'm just giving an example. Based on the other case law, I'm giving an example for you. That's it. Government of India banned TikTok Limited in India. Government of India said, we will be banning TikTok Limited. Now, TikTok Limited went to the court of law and said, see sir, we are Indian companies. This government is banning us simply. We have the right under constitution to establish a company in India. We have established a company in India. Government of India says, sir, even though TikTok Limited is an Indian company, all the shareholders are from China. China is our enemy. All the shareholders are from China. So please lift the corporate wheel and see who is behind the company. Court says, okay, if government feels that, or if it is in enemy nature, let us see. Court lifts the corporate wheel. Court wants to see who is behind TikTok. That people behind the companies are Chinese. China is our enemy. So obviously the company will be prohibited. The company will be banned. Whatever the government does, whatever the government has done is justified. So even in this case, when enemy nature has to be, this actually, the case law is Daimler Rubber, Continental Rubber Tires Limited. So that case came up in the World War situation. Actually, it came in 1916 when World War was happening. So transactions was between two companies. So even in this case, even in that situation, to identify the actual nature of a company, court can lift the corporate wheel and see who is behind the company. Next one is prevention of fraud or improper conduct. So I'll give another example. Let us say Mr. Bholu was a manager. Mr. Bholu was a manager in Pani Puri hotels. Mr. Bholu was a manager in Pani Puri hotels. Let us say these hotels were run by Pani Puri Limited, PP Limited Company. PP Limited Company was running this Pani Puri Hotels Limited. Pani Puri Hotels Limited. Mr. Bholu was a manager. So obviously when he is manager, he will know all the techniques which this hotels does. So all the techniques and all he knows. So PP Limited, while entering into contract of employment, had a condition that if Bholu goes out of the company, he will not start a competing business. This was one of the terms of his employment. Terms of employment was that he will not start a competing business, because obviously he will know the trade secrets and all. If he starts, he will drive all the customers and he will start a new business. So obviously, on the safer side, they made a contract. Bholu, due to some conflict, leaves the company and resigns the company and goes. He resigns the company and goes and starts a new Pani Puri shop near this hotel. He starts a new Pani Puri shop near this hotel. New Pani Puri shop. Now, lawyer of Bholu says, see, I think you will be ending up in trouble because your employment has this condition that you cannot open a competing business. Now, what Bholu does is, he knows all the customers of this business. So what he does is, this new Pani Puri shop business, whatever is there, he will transfer it to another company which is incorporated with his wife as shareholder. He opens a company where his wife is the shareholder. A new company is formed where his wife is a shareholder. And for this new company, let us say New Pani Puri Limited Company. New Pani Puri Limited Company is the company which is created in the name of his wife, where wife is shareholder. This entire business is transferred to his wife. Entire business is transferred to his wife. And because of which, a lot of customers will be coming to this place. He will be driving all the customers. He will be dragging all the customers to his place. Now, what Pani Puri Limited does is, Pani Puri Limited files a case against this company saying that the company has violated the terms of the employment. The company has violated the terms of the employment. Company says, no, we did not violate. We were never in your employment. Bholu was in employment. We have no relationship. Company goes to the court of law and asks the court to lift the corporate wheel and see who is behind the company. Lift the corporate wheel and see who is behind the company. Company says, Pani Puri Limited says, sir, see behind the company, even though his wife is a shareholder, it is created by Bholu. Bholu is violating these terms and conditions. So he has to shut down the company. Court lifts the corporate wheel to see that if there is an improper conduct or not, and court decides that there is an improper conduct, and hence Bholu Limited has to pay the penalty, and Bholu Limited has to close down the company which he has incorporated, because it violates the terms and conditions of the contract. It violates the terms and conditions of the contract. Is that clear for you? Prevention of fraud. If at all there is a fraud, to prevent it on a safer side, court can lift the corporate wheel. Court can use the lifting of corporate wheel option. Court can use the lifting of corporate wheel option. Is that clear? If it is clear, I'll go for the next example. Avoidance of welfare legislation. Next one. Yes, please tell me if you are clear with this. Everybody, I want each one of you to reply. Come on, fast. Vega, vega. Are you hungry or what? You're all hungry or what? Hungry. Yes, sir. Hungry class. Understood. Okay, let's go to next one. Welfare legislation. So what happened? There was a company. I'll name it as X Limited. Not hungry. Okay, very good. You're all energetic. Super cool people, right? I'll name it as X Limited. There's a company called as X Limited. So government has a policy that case law applicable. I'll just take the example. That's application based questions. Assume ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಸೊ ನೋ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಲಾನ ಹೆಸರೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸೇ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ that company should pay 10% of its profit as 10% of its profit as bonus. 10% of its profit as bonus. Employees ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಂಪನಿಯ 10% ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ನ 10% ಅನ್ನು ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಗೆ ಬೋನಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟೂ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. X Limited has two sources of income. One, it is a manufacturing organization, so it manufactures clothes. It manufactures clothes from which it earns income of 10 lakh rupees. It earns a profit, let us say, income or profit. It earns a profit of 10 lakh rupees. It also has an investment. It has done investments in various shares from which it is deriving dividends, from which it is deriving dividends of 50 lakh rupees. So total profit of the company ends to 60 lakh rupees, of which 10% annu company bonus agi kodbeku. Now some big heads of the company thinks, simply just because we have investment, this investment has no connection to the employees. Adru kuda they are enjoying 10% of this 50,000 also. So what they do is, they open a subsidiary company called as Y Limited. Y Limited and one subsidiary company ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. They transfer this investment so that dividend will be collected in Y Limited. Of course, Y Limited has no employees. They need not pay 10% dividend. So that much money is saved. This is what company does. So employees observe this. Workmen's observe this. What they will do? They go to the court of law. Of course, over 10%, 10 lakh in a 10%, 60 lakh in a 10%, there's a huge difference. So what they will do? They go to the court of law and they say, Your Honor, see, this is the case. This Y Limited is incorporated just for the purpose of avoiding the welfare legislation. ಬೋನಸ್ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನು ತಪ್ಪಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರವೇ ಈ Y Limited ಅನ್ನು ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. X Limited says, no, sir. Y Limited is different. X Limited is different. Whatever X Limited is earning, we are going to pay the bonus. From Y Limited, we are not concerned because Y Limited is a separate entity, is what this. Court lifts the corporate wheel and sees what is the intention of creating this company. Intention is to avoid a welfare legislation. Welfare legislation says 10% has to be paid. To reduce the welfare legislation purpose, they have created this company. So this will amount to fraud. This will not be in the benefit of employees. So court lifted the corporate wheel and ordered that whatever this company is earning has to be clubbed with this X Limited and the compensation has to be paid to the employees. So even in this case, corporate wheel was lifted. Even in this case, corporate wheel was lifted. Another question comes whether shareholder can ask the company to lift the corporate wheel. So what happened once, I'll give another example and this will be the last example for the day. So in another case, what happened, a lady had taken a room on rent from the government for running the business. The terms of the rent was the building will not be transferred. The rent agreement cannot be transferred. That means the rented premises cannot be transferred to some other business. ಬೇರೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. This lady had taken the room on rent in the year, let us say 2012. In the year 2012, she had taken the business on rent. So 2012, in 2016, her business grew so much. Business ಒಳ್ಳೆ growth ಆಯ್ತು. So she decided to convert it to a company. So she converted it to a company where she was shareholder for 99%, 1% was held by her husband. So this was Uma. I'm taking an example. Uma, she made it as UMA Limited, Uma Limited. She made it as Uma Limited. So now Uma Limited is running the business in that rented premise. Uma Limited is running the business in that rented premise. Government sent a notice saying that condition of the contract where the rent is this building is transferred to another business, because Uma Limited is separate entity. The rent agreement is actually with Uma, not with Uma Limited. So it sent a notice. Government sent a notice saying that they have to vacate. They have violated the condition. So Uma Limited went to the court of law and said, Uma went to the court of law and said, sir, I and the company are no different, sir. Please lift the corporate wheel and see. Tell the government that we are not different. Court said, no. If other party asks, if another party comes and asks us to lift, only then. If shareholder says to lift the corporate wheel and prove, we will not. Court will not lift the corporate wheel. Shareholders cannot request for lifting the corporate wheel. It is only the external parties. It is only the other party who is suffering from it should ask for lifting the corporate wheel. Is what court gave as a judgment. So this is one observation when you take. Shareholders cannot ask for lifting the corporate wheel. With this, we are ending the important concept of lifting the corporate wheel. So today we started right from the definition of company. We understood what is company. We understood features of company. Then we discussed about corporate wheel. Then we discussed about lifting of corporate wheel. Two situations where corporate wheel will be lifted. One is under statute. One is under judicial decisions. So under statute, you saw 4 situations. There, in case of fraud, that is fraudulent business. In case of non-refunding of application money. In case of members falling below the limit, or in case of misdescription of company's name, your corporate will be lifted and members behind it will be punished. Or in judicial decisions, we saw 4 situations where 4 different circumstances where corporate wheel was lifted by the court of law. Corporate wheel was lifted by the court of law. I hope it is clear to you. Please tell yes if you are clear with this. 100% if you have clarity, please tell me whatever we have discussed today. If you have any doubts, you can just raise up now. There is 2 more minutes for us. If you have any doubts, please do raise. Are you all comfortable with whatever is happening in the class? with the way we are presenting things? You are clear with it? Yes, sir. Great. Super. So, is there any doubt? Please do raise. We can have a okay. If you have any doubts, anything you need to clarify regarding features of the company, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ doubts ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ lifting of corporate wheel ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ doubts ಇದ್ರೆ. So I hope you have a confidence to answer the questions if at all it is asked from these areas, right? Okay, so with this, I'll be concluding today's session. Since you have another session going up on 11 o'clock, I'll be ending the session. Okay, take care. Bye. Tomorrow we'll be meeting at 8:30. Okay, take care.